Hi everyone, this is Michelle from Junior Education Hub. Today we'll be sketching sine and cosine graphs. So let's go! Generally, students have problem sketching sine and cosine graph is because they tend to forget the steps. But what we're going to do here today is we're going to get sine and cosine graph based on just remembering our base graph. So what do I mean by base graph? So let's look at how to sketch y equal to 2 sine 2x minus 1. Alright, so before sketching, alright, we need to know how does our base graph look like. So base graph is sketching y equal to sine x. So if you remember, sine x looks like this with a maximum point of 1 and minus 1. And one period is 360 degrees. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get the graph of this by just using the graph of our sine graph. So number one, the first modification we're going to look at is if we have 2 here. So what we're going to do is, if it's a 2, it's actually what we call it as a vertical stretch upwards. Technically, the graph looks the same. You can see it just stretched upwards, but the shape-wise looks the same. So usually we don't stretch it because it looks very weird. So what you're going to do is just going to remove this one and change it to 2 and minus 2. And it becomes y equal to 2 sine x. So it still looks like our base graph. So next is we're going to tackle the 2x. What does 2x mean? So it means that in 360 degrees, there will be 2 cycles. So instead of 1 cycle that we see now, we're going to see 2 cycles. So it's just going to look like this. 1 and then 2, but you can see that it gets a bit the shape gets a bit weird. So what you can do is we're just going to remove this and change it to 180 degrees, and what we have now is y equal to 2 sine 2x. If you want up to 360, okay, all we need to do is we're just going to add one more additional graph later. So now we're just going to tackle the last part, which is minus 1. So a minus 1 just means a vertical shift downwards. This is where we have to redraw our graph so that it looks nicer. So when we shift our graph down, so take note that this original graph starts from 0, but when we shift the graph down, okay, the graph will now start from negative 1. So we're going to try to draw one cycle first. So go up and we go down, and then you can see that this is actually one cycle. Alright, so the question wants up to 360 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up and go down to get our second cycle. So take note that when you shift the graph down, when it was originally 2, now it becomes at 1, and when you shift this down, it actually becomes negative 3. So this is actually how you sketch y equal to 2 sine 2x minus 1, purely based on what we call the base graph. So next we're going to sketch cosine graph. So it's the same thing. We're going to sketch y equal to 2 minus 3 cosine 3x. Okay, so same thing. Okay, we will need our cosine graph. So how does our cosine graph look like? So it looks something like a U shape. Okay, again with one cycle being 360 degrees, maximum 1 and minus 1. So this is y equal to cosine x. So the first modification will be our 3 here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put a 3 here and change the maximum and the minimum to 3 and minus 3. And next we're going to focus on the period. So same thing, now in 360 degrees there are actually 3 cycles. So it means that one cycle will take 120 degrees. So we're going to cancel this off and put 120 degrees, and we can change this to 3x. So again, we will extend the graph later to the domain that they want. So now this here is the next part that student gets a bit confused, is the negative. So can you see that actually there is a negative in front of the 3. So what does it mean? So when there is a negative in front of the trigo, it means that the graph is being flipped along the x-axis. So it actually looks like this. Okay, let me draw in red color so you can see it goes up and goes down. So it's like an inverted U. So this is actually y equal to negative 3 cosine 3x. And lastly, when you have a 2 outside, it's just a vertical shift up. So actually, if you want, you can actually rewrite this as y equal to negative 3 cosine 3x plus 2. So from here, you can see that plus 2 is actually a shifting upwards by 2 units. So same thing, when you shift, we're going to redraw our graph. So originally, you can see we will start off at negative 3. Now we will start off with at negative 1. So we'll go up and down for one cycle. This is 120 degree. And we're going to go another cycle. And then this is 240 degree. So what you can see here is the maximum is 5 because 3 plus 2 equal to 5. And negative 3 plus 2 is equal to negative 1. So this is how your graph y equal to negative 3 cosine 3x plus 2 looks like. So this is how you sketch sine and cosine graphs. If you find the content we are sharing useful, click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. See you soon. Goodbye.